Instantly AI is the Donald Trump of cold email. And if you want to learn how to master this automated money-making machine in 2025, keep watching. So why trust me? Well, I've made $17 million with Instantly AI for my own agency. I've helped 192 businesses to date set up cold email systems inside of this platform, and we generate over 6,000 leads every week on there. I'm also one of their only certified experts, and they sent me this fancy plaque, so you should believe me. So when I tell you that there are hidden features that will make the difference between hitting the inbox every time or getting blacklisted immediately, you should believe me. But you do not need to be an expert to get value here. If you're a total beginner, this is going to take you through everything you need to know. In fact, you should not ever start cold emailing until you watch this. Now, two things. You can skip around using the timestamps, but I'm going to be dropping some absolute bombs throughout this video that you are not going to want to miss. Thing number two, if you stick around with me, I'm going to show you how I built an AI reply system using Instantly that generates perfect AI replies for me every time. We're now inside of my Instantly AI dashboard. This is my agency dashboard. This is our results. I'm not just going to be showing you some template. I'm going to be showing you actually what we're doing so that you can actually see what this looks like in practice. Now, this isn't a script that I rehearse, so just stick with me as we go through this. I'm gonna make this as beginner-friendly as possible, but there's a lot of new features that Instantly continues to add that you're not going to wanna miss. So even if you think you already know something really well, just think for a second, maybe I don't. Maybe there's something new. Maybe there's a new practice that I haven't heard of yet. Everything here is important. All right, so I'm gonna go through everything that Instantly has to offer. It's going to be a long video. There's gonna be timestamps for you to jump around. So let's start with kind of the most important aspects of Instantly AI and some recommended settings. And then I do want to get into some of the newer, less used functions. So we're going to talk about Lead Finder. We're going to talk about their CRM. We're going to talk about this website visitors module. And we're going to talk about their inbox placement tests. We're also going to be talking about some really advanced stuff in here as well. So if it applies to you, awesome. If not, it probably will one day. So email accounts. So Instantly AI actually was the first platform to give you unlimited mailboxes and unlimited warming. They actually forced every other cold email provider to do the same in order to compete. So the great news here, you can upload unlimited mailboxes into your Instantly AI account and warm them all for free. Here's your first little nugget. Your Warmup icon might not be blue, it might be a different color. Instantly AI actually has a premium Warmup pool. This is only authenticated good mailboxes that you can opt into by sending them a message and actually requesting access to that premium Warmup pool. We use it, it's a little bit of extra money, but if you really want to ensure deliverability and protect your mailboxes, this is something that you can do. So let's see how many email accounts I have in here. Almost 500 in this workspace alone. And it's really easy to upload them in bulk. You can come in to add new. They also have a done for you email setup. There's some pros and cons to this that I'll talk about in just a second. They also have pre-warmed accounts. So let's talk about these pre-warmed accounts. Essentially, Instantly buys domains that are generic in name. We've used this, we've tested it. It actually works quite well. So if you want to get up and running without having to buy your own domains and warm them for 4 weeks, this could be an option for you if you need to get going really quick. Limitations here being you can't move them from Instantly and you can't control what that domain name or mailbox name is. So if you're doing something super generic, you're in a time crunch, worth considering. It's also a little bit pricey. So if you're someone who wants to save some money, that's not a good option for you. They're done for you email setup. It's similar to mine. Theirs is a little bit more expensive. By the way, I do have my own. There's some benefits to using mine over Instantly's. So done for you email setup. They will actually buy your domain, set up the mailboxes for you. This is also a little bit more expensive. You do get access to their premium warm-up pool that you can opt into. Now, the big drawback for this is that you can't move them. You don't own them, they do. So that's the reason that I do not use this. I actually have my own email setup service that any of you can access if you want, leadgenj.com/setup-app to go ahead and get our mailboxes set up. You own them, you have the password, you can move them from Instantly to SmartLead to whatever you want. You also don't really have a mailbox manager, so if things go down, you get blacklisted, there's nobody that can help you. Now, if you are doing my setup service, or if you are setting up mailboxes on your own with other providers, Inframail, Hypertide, Maildoso, any of those things, you can connect them yourself using this. You can import them, but typically nowadays, you should be working with a provider like me, any other vendor that's actually gonna set up your infrastructure and import them into Instantly.ai for you. So I haven't even seen this page in years because I don't import my own mailboxes. I have people that do that for me and services that do that for me. So that is a breakdown of these. Again, pre-warmed accounts, expensive if you need to get up and running really quickly, could be an option. Done for you email setup, a little bit expensive, but you do not own the mailboxes, you cannot move them, and you get no help. All right, so now let's look at all these email accounts that I've got. So we've got a couple tags here. So Instantly.ai lets you add tags to domains. So if I want to filter them using some of these tags, I can just come into this dropdown and choose specific tags. This can be really helpful if they're set up using different services, if they're for different clients. We use these tags for a lot of stuff, just for organization. You can also see which ones have errors, which are paused. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do here with this filter. Test domain setup. I highly recommend that once you get your mailboxes in here, just click that button. It's gonna run through, it's gonna check that all your records are set up correctly and just tell you, cool, they are. If not, it will tell you which ones need help and what kind of help that they need. So going into the mailboxes themselves, let's talk about the settings that you need to use to configure Instantly.ai correctly. Because this changes so fast, I want you to take a big dose of humble pie and just listen. So let's go into one of these mailboxes and show you what we're doing. Now, I haven't configured these for a while. They're aged, they've been in here for a long time. So this might not reflect the current settings. So let's go ahead and set this up the way that I currently like them set up. So here we'll see Warmup is enabled. They're all doing quite well. Let's come into settings. So this is where the magic happens. We use this signatures tab for every single mailbox. It makes adding a signature to an email sequence really easy. So make sure that you're adding a signature here. Couple things that I want to mention here. This is one of the golden nuggets, so take notes. We're not using a last name. We're not using our full company name. The reason for this is we want to avoid certain words and phrases being flagged as suspicious as sending cold email. For example, if 100 emails are marked as spam or bounce and they see, oh, Otter PR is mentioned in all of them, let's just blacklist emails that have Otter PR in it. So we want to use words and phrases that can't really be identified by those types of systems. If they're not going to blacklist the word Ashley, they're not going to blacklist media expert, and they're not going to blacklist the word Otter. But Otter PR are possibilities that could get blacklisted. So that's just something unique that we do there. Let's talk about campaign settings. So we like to keep our sending volume really, really low. And the reason we're able to get away with that at a good price is we are using Google legacy accounts so that we do not pay monthly fees for this mailbox infrastructure. If you want to learn how to do that, you need to be inside of my Insiders program, link below. Okay, so daily campaign limits. We've got this set to 10. I would not go above 30. So I'm actually going to configure this as we go with what you should be doing. Minimum wait time, 5 to 10 minutes. The longer, the better. And campaign slow ramp. This is something relatively new that Instantly added, and it was long overdue. You should always have this enabled. Always have campaign slow ramp enabled. So let's look at what spammers do. They launch a bunch of cold mailboxes, and they go from 0 to 50 emails per day like that. That is not natural sending behavior for any human. So before this was enabled, that's exactly what it did. So using campaign slow ramp, every day it's going to progressively increase the number of cold emails that it's sending until it reaches that 30 emails per day. Always have this on. Reply to address. This is another golden nugget. Do not use a reply to address. You can. We used to do this years ago, funneling all the reply tos to a central mailbox. Yeah, it makes replying to cold emails much easier, but it actually crushes your deliverability on that second reply and can put your main mailbox that you're forwarding these to in danger. So we always keep this empty and we respond directly from the Unibox. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Daily inbox placement test limits, we keep this at 10, and I'll show you what inbox placement tests are and how to set them up and look at them just a little bit later. Custom tracking domains. So in all honesty, we don't even need this anymore because we're not inserting tracking code into our emails, into our mailboxes. We still do it just in case we ever need to. So a custom tracking domain, for example, if I want to put an unsubscribe link in my email, that link needs to be tracked. We need to know the result of who's clicking on that link. To do that, it adds code. That code is coming from this domain here. If you are going to add any sort of links, any links at all, make sure that you have this custom tracking domain integrated. Reply rates, or open rates too. If you're tracking anything, clicks, opens, doesn't matter. It all happens through this custom tracking domain. So make sure that you are using this. If not, it uses Instantly's default one, and that is an instant signal that it's a cold email. Your emails will go to spam. All right, so takeaways for custom tracking domains. What we do is we put them in there, but we really don't need to because we don't track anything with code. I'll show you what that means when we get to sequences. But make sure that you have these in here. If not, and you do accidentally throw an unsubscribe link in, it will go to spam. All right, let's talk about Warmup settings. This Warmup filter tag, we don't use. The reason for that is once you start filtering Warmup emails out of the inbox, they stop becoming effective as Warmup emails. So if you're doing that forwarding thing or reply to thing that we talked about above, you're going to be getting a bunch of Warmup emails coming in there. They're going to be annoying. You're going to want to filter them out. And then Warmup becomes ineffective. So for that reason, no forwarding, no reply to, no Warmup filter tag. You can ignore that. Now Warmup settings. So their recommended settings, we're going to deviate from a little bit. What I like to say as a simple rule is if we're ramping up to 30 emails per day, then how I want to set up my Warmup settings is increase at 1 email per day until it reaches 30. We want to be about even. So if you're sending 20 emails per day, 50 emails per day, your maximum warm-up should equal that number of emails. It's a general rule. There's not a steadfast way to do this that everybody generally agrees on. This is my way. I've been doing it for quite a while, very successfully like this. Now, this warm-up is very, very important. For example, if you get 1 email marked as spam from your cold email campaign out of 30 and you don't have warm-up, that's very, very bad for your domain, for your reputation. However, if you also have these 30 warm-up emails, now it's 1 out of 60. So it greatly increases your positive response rate, which is going to protect your reputation. So always keep warm-up on. There's been conversations about, oh, when I start sending cold emails, let's turn warm-up off. We keep it on always because it changes that fraction of emails that we can afford to get marked as spam. So this is an interesting thing that not a lot of people do or recommend. We've tested with and without this. It all works. Now, what we do on our reply rates is very interesting and very unique. The suggested reply rate percentage that they give you is 30. But what's the harm in cranking that up to 50, 60, 70? If most of those emails are being replied to, and there's not that many of them, that actually is a really positive signal to Google. Now, I'm not even sure Instantly listens to us in this regard and gives us the replies for all of these, but we actually like to crank it up and we get really good results from this. Now, if you do have a paid plan on Instantly, I believe it's only available on their $97 or higher tier, you'll have these advanced warm-up settings. We just like to enable all of this and set all of these to close to 100. Not too complicated there, enable all the advanced stuff. Okay, so that is the individual mailbox settings. Now this is a new one. You can now see which campaigns a mailbox is associated with in this campaigns tab. So this will just show you all the campaigns that this mailbox is associated with. If you need to make big bulk changes to your settings, which we do all the time, you can come in here and select all, come in and do bulk edit, and then make changes. So for example, if I wanted to crank up all of these warm-ups to 50 emails per day, I can just do 50 there and it's gonna update all of that specific field to 50. We use this a lot. It's kind of a hidden feature, but a really, really powerful one. All right, so step 1 is over. You've set up your mailboxes and domains. You've imported them into Instantly. They're now warming. As a general rule, you wanna warm for 2 to 4 weeks. However, if you just now bought a domain today, you made mailboxes, put them into Instantly, wait 4 weeks. Domain age is a very important factor for deliverability. It needs to be at least 30 days old if you have any chance of hitting the inbox. So if you're trying to get ramped up quickly, just assume that you're gonna have 30 days. Remember, cold email is hard. Deliverability is hard. You wanna give yourself the best possible chance. And that's what I'm doing with you here. All of these settings are giving you the best possible shot. There's 3 important factors in your cold emails working. 1, infrastructure and deliverability. If it's set up correctly like this, your warm-up settings, your DNS records, your domain age, all of the stuff that's easily predictable. It's a simple formula that you follow. Buy a domain from a reputable source, put your name servers to Cloudflare, then you're gonna set up mailboxes for that domain using a reputable setup service, like mine, or Instantly if you prefer. You're gonna warm your mailboxes inside of Instantly at the settings that we just discussed for 2 to 4 weeks, at least 4 weeks if your domain is new. And then once you have a positive health score and your inbox placement tests are looking good, at that point you can start with the other 2 pillars of cold email. So the other 2 pillars of cold email after infrastructure are What are you saying to your prospect? That's the cold email sequence. And then who are you reaching out? So these two things, list building and sequence generation, we're gonna talk about a little bit here, but if you really wanna go deep on those things, I have a free community and a paid community, all linked down below. With that being said, let's transition into probably the most important tab in Instantly AI, and this is campaigns. This is where all of the magic happens. So you'll see a couple errors here, and you'll also see my business partner's name next to them. Everything else is really run by me. There's a couple benchmarks that I want to point out to you. A lot of people will launch these campaigns and not know if they're doing a good job. Look at some of the results that we're getting here. These are way above average. I've been doing this for a long time. You should not expect to get these results right away. It's hard to do. So here's some benchmarks to keep in mind just as you're building out your campaigns and assessing your results. A good kind of industry standard to aim for is a 1% reply rate, and then about half of those people being opportunities. So a 0.5% opportunity rate. Once you get really good, you'll start seeing results like this. These are abnormal for a sales-based campaign. Don't expect to get 8% reply rates your first time. This is not easy to do. I'm gonna show you how we do it. I'm gonna walk you through the sequences and everything. You can copy them if you want. Just know that this stuff is hard. It is not easy. Do not expect these results off the bat. All right, so let's talk about campaigns, campaign structure, how to build. So let's go into one of these bad boys and see what options it gives us. Analytics, leads, sequences, schedule, options, subsequences. So within the analytics, we can get a really detailed view of this screen. Something I really like about Instantly is if you're managing clients, you can actually just come to share. You can customize this, add your own logo here, download and send. This is a really good way to share results. You can also come into the analytics settings and see what is being displayed here. There's a reason open rate and click rate aren't checked. You don't track them. We're not using any sort of tracking code. I'm gonna get to that in just a second, but important to know. There's also one other place to see analytics. If you come into this left-hand side on this main tab, you get a much broader view of analytics. If you're just focused on like, okay, let's get a full picture of what's going on, you can come into this tab and look a little bit deeper. So if you scroll down, you can actually see the analytics of each step in your campaign. And if you're good at cold email, then you're probably running some sort of split test. The split test is really gonna give you a lot of information about what's working best. And there's a few ways to put together a great split test. That's a video on its own. Again, insiders program communities. So let's make some decisions here because I've actually got good data. It looks like my team maybe forgot to decide here. But one of these is not like the other. They've sent an equal amount of emails. The reply rates says 2%, 2%, 1%. But look at the opportunities difference. This one has 10 more than the others. That's significant. That is statistically significant. So just by flipping off A and B, I'm probably gonna increase my results by like 10 to 20%. Pretty damn cool. I like to do this every 2 to 4 weeks, and then I would then come in here into sequences and I would set up some new split tests. So as you can see, these two are the ones that I've already turned off. They're now flipped off, but I also want to know why they weren't as good. What was I doing in this one that was different than these two? And then I would scale this idea. So this one proved to be better. Let's do something similar with a different test variation. Before we get into there, let's not skip around. The leads section. This is where you are going to upload your lead data. Now there's a few nuggets in here too, so I want you to pay attention. If you can get this right, this is list building. Usually this happens outside of Instantly, whether you're using Apollo or Clay, whatever you're using to generate those lists, trusted leads. You're gonna take those leads once they're clean and import them here into Instantly AI. So you can add leads through all of these use cases. For me, it's typically a CSV file. I'm gonna go ahead and do a test one just so you can see. All right, so I went ahead and uploaded just a list that I had saved in my documents so you can see how it actually works. So Instantly is gonna do its best job at matching the fields that you want. Make sure to go through and, for example, if you want the title in there and they don't have one, just do a custom variable. That way you're gonna be able to access it when you're building your campaign. And in this case, it got the email wrong. So this is actually the company name that I want, company name for emails, but it put it here. So we're just gonna say, do not import. We're gonna change this to company name. We're gonna change this to email. Just go ahead and match these on their way in. My recommendation is only match them if you're actually going to use it in your campaign. For example, I don't use phone numbers in my campaign, but maybe I'm gonna use it later in like a webhook. If I wanna call that person because they responded and they were interested, I am gonna need their phone number in here. So this is something that I would include as a custom variable. Their employees, that's also something I could use as a custom variable. Whether that email is risky or catch-all, no, that's useless to me. I'm gonna leave that as do not import. So even if you're not using this information in your immediate sequence, if they're interested and you need to do research on them, this information could be really helpful. Company keywords, again, even though I'm not using this in the campaign, this is really helpful information to me if they reply and I want to do research on them or plug them into an AI. So think about it that way. A lot of people don't do this. Make sure that you do this, especially their LinkedIn profiles. You want all of this information. So make them all custom variables. All right, skipping to the end here, once you've matched all of those things, you can then select the lead owner. So this is especially powerful if you have a team or you're managing clients. Who is going to get notified if that lead responds as interested? They're gonna go into their Instantly app and they're gonna have access to that specific lead. So if you're managing clients, if you've got a big sales team and you're making a campaign for them, it is really powerful to be able to assign a lead owner. Whether you wanna check for duplicates or not, again, if you're managing multiple clients in the same workspace, then maybe you don't want to check for duplicates. So this is something that it does, and we usually just leave this off. Now let's talk about this next checkbox, verify leads, get 2x more leads with our new catch-all verification. I wanna briefly talk about catch-alls. Catch-alls are emails that cannot be verified quickly using most email verification tools like Million Verifier. There are services out there that will do catch-all verification for you quickly. Instantly.ai is one of them. It's a little bit more expensive than my alternative, which is Find Email with Clay. Again, this is advanced stuff for the insiders community. But if you have a small list, meaning maybe you only target Fortune 500 companies in the agricultural space, and it's only 5,000 people total that you can reach out to, and 1,000 of those emails are catch-all emails. You're going to want to use them, and you're going to want to double verify those leads with Instantly's catch-all verifier. Now, if you're a marketing agency and you do web design and you sell to everybody, now there's millions of people that you can reach out to. You don't need to verify your catch-alls. You can just send to valid emails. So that's the only case I would really use this, because it does get quite expensive to do verification with Instantly and catch-all verification. But if you have a small TAM, target addressable market, you're going to be hearing that term a lot, definitely worth doing that catch-all verification. And Instantly is a great simple way to do it. If you want a simple way to do catch-all verification that doesn't require other tools or subscriptions, check that box, but just know that you're going to be paying for it. Okay, some other options you'll see here. Use Lead Finder. This is Instantly.ai's lead database. There's one use case for using this database that I'll share with you once we go in there, but that's what this means. Enter emails manually. The only time I use this is for quick tests. I built a new campaign and I want some variables in there. And then using Google Sheets. I don't really do this just because uploading a CSV is much faster and cleaner, and it works every time. Now, a couple other things that you'll see here in this lead section. Up here, you can get a pretty quick overview of what's going on. So this are the people that's been contacted. This is how many unsubscribed, how many emails bounced, and how many have been completed. Now here's a golden nugget. This comes from industry expertise. Nobody else is going to tell you how to do this. Reusing your target addressable market, your list. Say you have a list of 100,000 really amazing leads that you've worked really hard list building, AI enhancing, and you've put them into a single campaign. And it's been 3 to 6 months and 50,000 of them never even opened your email. What you can do here is come into filter. You're gonna say completed, no reply. And you can also fine tune with other conditions as well. But now that I have all of these people who have been verified, they've been emailed and they haven't replied, I can email them again 3 to 6 months later. So all I have to do here is select all. These are all the people that have been emailed but have not replied yet. And then 3 months later, I can move them to a campaign or a subsequence to a list. That way I can reuse the same list over and over again. If you have a small TAM, that becomes extra important. Now, the right way to do this, wait 3 to 6 months before moving them to a different campaign. And then ideally, you move them to a campaign or a subsequence with a little bit different of a value proposition, calling out a different pain point, offering a different lead magnet. So hopefully you'll have a couple of those going, whether they be tests or at least 3 variations of a campaign that feel a little bit different than the one they just went through. You don't want to run them through the same campaign over and over again. It can be the same offer, just presented a little bit differently. Last really important thing I want to show you in this lead view is this little brain icon. This is about as simple as it can get for you to add AI personalization to your lead lists without really having to know any other tools or software or code or prompting. Instantly actually crowdsourced all of these templates. As you can see, I'm in there too. I'm one of the most popular templates, Go Lead Gen J, that you can use for your lead list without you having to come up with the prompts yourself. These are proven ones that a lot of people are using. With that being said, the more popular they are, the less they're probably gonna work, which means people are gonna be used to receiving them. But if I wanted to add a company compliment as an additional column on this entire list, I can just click company compliment. I could input that company description, and then it's gonna create another column with that personalization. I just hit generate for all leads and it will generate. I can also test the output. So I can see the result that it's going to do before I waste all of my OpenAI credits doing this. You can also create your own templates. You can do your own prompts in here. Obviously, I did. These are all prompts that I've created. This one's from my business partner, Scott. You do need to know a little bit more about prompting, and it's important that you have your own API key in here. So if you don't already have an OpenAI account, just click here, follow the prompts, get an API key, paste it in here, and now you can start using these AI prompts. Word of caution with using AI personalization, I've seen it cause way more harm than good. We honestly don't even use it in our initial cold email sequence. We actually use AI mostly on the reply. If someone's interested, now we do research, use AI, and send them a well thought out AI reply. All right, let's chat about sequences. Now I know what you're probably thinking by looking at this. It's only one step. Why is it only one step? We've experimented from one-step email sequences to 7. If you have a large TAM, target addressable market, then it is more important for you to reach out to more people rather than hit that same person over and over again. The most effective email in your campaign is going to be email 1 every time. So if your goal is to reach out to massive amounts of people, this is the best way to do it, short campaigns. Now this one I believe was done by our cold email team to try and ramp up results, but normally I would add at least a second step in here. So I'll show you what that looks like as well in a different campaign. So to build a sequence, you'll come in here, it's gonna be a blank screen. You'll enter your subject line. You'll hit this little lightning bolt to call personalization variables from your lead list. And then what you see here, all of these brackets is actually spin tags. So what is spin tags? Essentially, it's going to choose a word at random from this list of words separated by the line for each email. The result of that is you sending a different email every time. So one of the things that we need to be extra careful with in 2025 is sending the same email over and over again. It will get flagged by the ESPs and it will start to bounce and go to spam. So make sure that you're adding spin tags to your emails here. Luckily, there's a lot of really easy ways to do it now. In fact, you can come in here and use Instantly's AI spin tags writer, spam words checker. They've built a lot of these functions right here into the platform. They're not perfect. I actually built my own spin tags generator. It's available to the insiders. Again, join the community, lots of resources. But if you're just getting started, it'll be good enough. Make sure that you're using spin tags. Any spin tags is better than no spin tags. The AI sequence writer, don't do it. Don't even think about it. Now, if you do really want to use AI to generate a sequence for you, do not use Instantly's prompts. This is not going to give you a good result. If you want, we've got this offer here where we basically build out your entire system, get your email list, validate it, write your cold email sequences, all for $97 right now. It's a very much introductory offer that's going away very soon, but this will give you really good results that actually work. So here's a list of all the ones we are generating for clients. God, I hope this is a good one. Someone who did this offer just today, here's the results that it got for them. It does all of the research into their ICP. It writes all of here's their buyer persona that it generates, finds their pain points, comes up with subject lines, and actually really good ones. I spent a lot of time prompting. It's trained on all of the cold emails that I've written. Survey data giving you headaches. This is really good stuff. Quick win for your feedback process. So this stuff is actually going to work. If you use any other AI, it will not. And then emails that are actually good, emails that will actually convert. First name, I'll keep this short and sweet. I noticed you recently launched a new product line. Are you confident you're collecting the right feedback to ensure product market fit? This is so good, guys. I'm patting myself on the back. This is unbelievable. Okay, so that's available to you. It's gonna be linked down below. There's some other stuff down here that's self-explanatory that I'm not gonna get into too much. This is where you'll call variables into your cold email campaign. This is how you add your signature to your cold email. Make sure that you add lists at the bottom of every single email. And then if you want to see what this email looks like without the spin tax, hit preview, and this is what it's actually going to look like. All right, now if I want to add additional variants, you can just click add variant, copy and paste. This is how you do split tests. Now, how I recommend that you do split tests is there's a couple things that you really want to test, mostly the preview text. So what they're going to see in the subject line and the first sentence of that email. This is really going to dictate your open rates. Even though you're not going to know your open rates, it's going to have a huge effect on your reply rates. So change your subject line, change the first line. See what's gonna get their attention and get them to open the email. I mentioned the 3 pillars of getting cold email right. There's also 3 pillars to getting a cold email sequence right. You've got 3 things that you need to do. You need to get them to open the email. To do that, you need to make it seem like it's not a sales email. As soon as they see a subject line that it thinks you're gonna start selling them, they're gone. They're probably not gonna open the email. So it should feel like it's coming as an opportunity from a vendor, from a client. And that can be hard to do, especially for AI. So that really takes some creativity. Second thing you need to do is get them to read the email. So if you bait them with a subject line and then they open it and they're not interested, it's not relevant, it's about something else, they're gone. And then number 3, you need to get them to reply. You do that with a really simple call to action. We leave it very open-ended. So do you want to take the opportunity? Let me know and I'll send over everything you need to know. All they have to say is yes. Really simple, open-ended opportunity. The key is a really simple call to action. You want it? Yes. Can I send it over? Yes. If you start to send links and ask them to do research and come up with a lengthy reply, they're gone. And that's how you get your emails open. So general structure, we usually would say email 1, subject line, split test that preview text. That's the only thing I would really split test in email 1. You can also split test the pain point. So like the middle of the email, what are you calling them out on? How are you positioning the offer? Step 2, we usually like to leave the subject line blank. That means the email is going to come in the same thread as that first email. So this is usually an opportunity for us to give a little bit more info and context about the offer, about that first email. And I'll typically start with, actually, see if I can find one. Here we go. Here's a 3-step sequence. So it's going to be in the same email thread, and we'll typically start with something like just touching base to see if you read my last email about the opportunity. So if they see that in their inbox, they're probably going to open it. So we keep it nice and simple like that, as just like a bump. Simple bump, waits 2 days, sends them the bump. And then this one's actually a 4-step sequence. And you can split test these things as well. If you're doing a long email sequence, make sure that you're changing what you're saying, email 3, 4, 5. Don't just say the same thing over again and send constant reminders. You're going to get reported as spam. I'm not going to go into sequencing too much in this video. It's a video on its own, but just those are some basics about cold email and how these sequences work. Okay, schedule. I rarely even touch this. I don't think it matters very much which days is the sending cold emails. The weekday at normal times. Now, if you're sending cold emails to somebody in a way different location or maybe it's only emailing people who work night shifts, you can touch this, we don't. Let's talk about configuring the settings of your cold email campaigns. So for accounts to use, this is really cool. You can just use the tags. You don't have to click hundreds of times. Makes it really easy to add emails to campaigns in bulk. A lot of people don't know about this. Works really well, saves a ton of time. Is a much cleaner way to assign mailboxes to campaigns. All right, so let's look at some of these settings that we have configured. Stop sending emails on reply. Yes, if they reply to my cold email, I don't want to keep sending them cold emails. So this should always be enabled. Open tracking, always disabled. Delivery optimization, send emails as text only, no HTML. This is important because we want to make absolutely certain there is no code in a cold email. If there is, there's a much better chance that it ends up going to spam. Now, if you do want to send like a Calendly link or a YouTube video in follow-up emails, which you can do, especially if it's in the same thread. If an email already landed in somebody's inbox, the first email, it's there, maybe they ignored it. The chance of the second email in that thread going to spam is pretty low. So you're actually allowed some flexibility there. If it's the second or third email all in the same thread and it's in their inbox, you can send a YouTube link. You can send a Calendly link. You can send a Loom video. It will probably go through. So if you're doing that, then you want to select send first email as text only. That will make sure that only the first one is text only. And then in the follow-up ones, you can add hyperlinks and things like that. Daily limit, self-explanatory. Let's come into some advanced settings. So here you can designate the owner at a specific campaign level to a specific person. So you can do it at the lead level like we also already talked about, but you can also do it here at the campaign level. You can tag campaigns for organization, if they're for clients, the different use cases, self-explanatory. Time gap between emails. You can do this at the mailbox level. I actually like to do it here. So minimum time 7 minutes, random additional time 3 minutes. There's no exact number, but this one works pretty well if you want to copy it. Max new leads, we leave this blank. I don't know why anyone would cap the number of leads that they want. Sounds like a good problem to have. Prioritizing new leads is something that you can think about. So this campaign that I just showed you is a 4-step campaign. I'm going to turn this on. I want it to reach out to more people instead of the same people multiple times. So something to think about if you have a long campaign and you want to tell that. This is also going to improve your results because email 1 is always going to be your most effective email, or it should be. If it's not, then find the most effective email. Maybe it's email 3 and move it to 1. 1 should be your most effective. Now, if you're somebody that wants to set up a bunch of tests, set it and forget it, Instantly now has a way to auto-optimize the A/B testing. You can actually choose the winning metric for your campaign. So it's going to gather data and then it's going to automatically turn one of the A, B, C tests off to give you the best results. So if you are using this, it should be reply rate. 100% of the time, because we should not ever be tracking click or open rate because those things add code and kill your deliverability. So if you're going to use it, use reply rate. With that being said, I never click this because I like to select these tests manually because there's a lot of other variables that we're looking at other than just reply rate. You could have 100 people saying, go F yourself, and that's gonna get really good reply rates, but not a lot of opportunity rates. So as you can see, there's other variables that matter. Now this next one's a little bit more advanced, but it goes to show you how well Instantly.ai is adapting to the landscape of cold email. This stuff is hard and it's changing all the time. Provider matching is exactly what it says here. So if you're sending from Google's, typically those Google inboxes will send better to other Google mailboxes. If you have Microsoft Outlook, those can deliver a little bit better to Microsoft Outlook mailboxes. If you're having a hard time getting through to Outlook mailboxes with your Googles and with your Microsofts, maybe you're using a private SMTP server. Again, this is more advanced, and you notice that that is delivering better to Outlooks. You can actually add a custom rule and you can say others send to Microsoft, and now your private SMTP will be the only ones that send to those Microsoft. So this is a little bit more advanced, not something you probably have to worry about as a beginner, but if you're advanced and you're really looking to ramp up your reply rates, do this and then diversify your infrastructure. Gmails, Microsofts, and private SMTPs. Now, if you are looking to diversify your infrastructure, get Microsoft Office mailboxes, get private SMTPs set up the correct way, make sure to go to leadgenj.com/tools. Then you should really check out my recommended vendors and softwares. They're all here by category, including my recommendation for private SMTP, for Microsoft Outlook, it's all here. So head in there, check it out. The link is going to be in the description. Okay, enough about that. That doesn't apply to most people. Most people will not have to worry about provider matching, but thought it was worth mentioning for those advanced folks watching. Thank you for trusting me as part of this community. I hope this is value that is helpful for you. Some other things that are self-explanatory: company reply stop. Maybe you're emailing the executive assistant and the CEO, and if one of them responds and at the same company, you wanna stop sending to the other one. This could be a helpful thing for you. We only send to decision makers, so it is not relevant here. Stop on auto reply. We do not. If they're out of office, I don't care. I'm going to send them another email. Insert unsubscribe link header. This is something that used to be popular. Do not use it. We do not use this anymore. It decreases your deliverability. Now, Instantly has also added a bunch of functions so that your emails don't bounce. They want you to be successful, and you should let them apply their tools into your campaigns. If you want to enable risky emails, go ahead, but they have a lot of data on who to email and who probably not to email. I would leave these boxes unchecked, let them do their thing. We do not add CC and BCC to your emails. If you have a use case that allows it, go do your thing, go nuts. I'm going to go ahead and save this, and we can move on to subsequences. Now, there are a few ways to automate your replies in Instantly.ai. This is probably the simplest version of that. For example, let's make a subsequence here. I'm going to call it test. You can attach the subsequence to a specific campaign. So if this campaign, I want people to say yes. If they're marked as interested or they say yes, it is going to trigger this subsequence. You can also add multiple keywords. So if they say yeah, if they say yup, then it will trigger that subsequence to be created. And this is essentially just a sequence campaign attached to a main campaign. So if everybody's saying the same thing, yes, then you can automatically put them into this drip sequence so that you don't have to worry about replying to everybody. Now, the caveat here is that a lot of people are probably going to ask questions, not just say yes. So make sure that you're actually replying to the people that need to be replied to. This is a great thing for those of you that aren't able to respond really quickly and in a personalized way. Now, I mentioned I would show you how we created a reply AI. This is what ours looks like. So these are all of my inbound messages. This is for my lead Gen J business. And it actually generates an AI reply for every inbound message that I get. And if I want to send it to that person, all I have to do is click good. So this is a really advanced system. This is why we're not using these subsequences, why we're not using the Unibox. But for your purposes, the subsequences are a great thing if you're just getting started and you want to be able to reply quickly and scalably. You'll set this up exactly like a normal campaign, and now you know how it's triggered. Now let me show you a good use case for how we were doing subsequences. This is my lead Gen J business. Again, we're getting abnormal results. Do not expect this. So let's come back to an older campaign. All right, for this campaign, I was trying to bait people with these Google legacy accounts. This is how to get a Google panel where you can basically create mailboxes with no monthly fees. If you want to learn how to do it, the answer is in my Insiders program. Essentially, I was just baiting people to say yes. If they say yes, they want to know, they get put into this subsequence so they get the information automatically without me having to send it to them. It's because I'm asking them to say a specific trigger word. So let's come into the sequence. I'm saying just say legacy and I'll show you where we get it from. So if they respond with that word legacy, they get put into that subsequence and they get the messaging automatically. There's a really effective way to do hands-off cold email. All right, I know that section was long. Now let's move on to some more fun stuff. We're gonna go into the Unibox. This is where you should be replying to all of your inbound responses. You should also have the mobile app, which makes it really easy to know when somebody new responds and get back to them. If you have anything to take away from this section here, it's speed to lead. You need to get back to people as soon as they respond. You've caught their interest with a cold email. They send you an interested response. It should be less than 30 minutes before you actually get back to them. Really, really important to be fast. And in order to be fast, you need to either use AI or subsequences, or you need to use the app and templates. For example, we get this interested response. We're notified by email from Instantly. We have the app. We were notified by a push notification. We immediately come in and we reply. Now, as you can see here, Instantly is actually trying to guess at the macro to use, the template reply to use based on the conversation and what they said. This is actually done by Instantly's built-in AI system. You have to integrate your OpenAI code, sure, but they're actually able to guess which reply is next. So if I want to use this specific reply that's in gray here, all I have to do is hit tab and it automatically inserts this reply for me. So I don't have to do anything. So how did I train it to do that? How do you get to that point? Well, you actually come in, you hit reply, and then you hit the pound button and you start building macros. You need to start training this thing on what to reply. So you're gonna come in, hit the pound button and then create, and then you're gonna build out these template replies. You can call on variables, you can personalize the reply, and then you're gonna title it as whatever you wanna title it. Then when you're coming in and you're responding to cold emails in the future, you can call on these macros and Instantly is going to learn which template reply goes with which email response that you receive. And it's actually pretty good. And eventually you can just flip it onto full autopilot mode once you really trust it. So that's just a little hack not a lot of people know about. Use those macros, use those templates, especially when you're getting started. It's a really effective way to speed up your reply time. Now let's look at this primary inbox tab. We've got all of these email responses. Instantly does its best job at categorizing someone as not interested or out of office. Any other tags that you'll see here are done custom by us at an outside API. Don't worry about it. The important thing to note here is that Instantly is not perfect. It is not going to get it right 100% of the time. In fact, I'd say it's about 20% wrong. Somebody says a word that might indicate they're not interested, but they're actually interested. So go through these not interested replies and just change their tag if in fact they are interested. The other thing I want to recommend that you guys do is start replying to the soft no's. We do this extensively. So what is a soft no? This person said, if this is a paid media opportunity, no thank you. We are fortunate to be busy already. This is somebody who's not interested, but took the time to give us a response. If they took the time to write that email to us to tell me why they're not interested, that person might be interested. So instead of just ignoring them, we send them a well thought out, soft no response. That soft no response is usually acknowledging their reason for not wanting to work with us and giving them a link to our case studies if they ever so choose to use it. This actually generates a lot of leads for us and nobody else is doing this. Now, if this person were to say, go F yourself, get out of here, you're an a-hole, never talk to me again, remove me from your list, how do you actually get that person on your block list and remove them? It's really this easy. You hit these three dots in the corner and you can actually control what happens with that lead. So in this case, delete lead, add to block list. All you'd have to do is click that button and it's going to remove them from your system and put them onto your block list so that you never accidentally email them again. Definitely get in the habit of doing this. And if you're doing some more advanced stuff like I teach in the insiders, you can automate that. This others tab is actually really important. You should check it, especially because if somebody replies from an email address that's not in the system, maybe you send an email to my second email address and I reply from my first, it's gonna show up here. So there's some gold in here that you should check periodically. We have our team going through these just to make sure that there's not actual responses in here, in which case. And if there is an interested response in here in this others box, we would click on these three dots and we attach lead. This actually matches the email to the right person that is inside of our system, so that it attributes it correctly, we track it correctly, it goes in as interested, all the stuff. So that's what you'll do in that case, but don't forget about this others tab. You do end up getting good stuff in there. That's the majority of what I want to talk about in the Unibox. Make sure that you have the app too. If you click on the bottom here, get the mobile Unibox app, it'll just kind of take you to it. You can scan this and grab the app. It is really functional and easy to use. The rest of this is just filtering. So if you want to only look at responses for a specific campaign, you can do that. If you want to only look at interested responses, you can do that here. There's a lot of different ways that you can filter your Unibox to make your life more efficient. Now, those are the main three things: the email accounts, who are you emailing, what are you saying, and then how are you handling replies. I'm going to talk about the settings next. So how do you actually want to configure your account settings for Instantly to set you up for success? I want to show you some really cool stuff in there. And then I'm going to show you some of the lesser known, lesser used functions that are immensely powerful inside of Instantly. They do cost a few extra bucks. We use every single one of them. I kid you not. We pay the money, they're all worth it. I can't wait to show you these things. And by the way, before I do that, if you're getting value so far, you appreciate me making this free on YouTube for anybody to access and really get the industry knowledge and secrets, I would really appreciate you hitting the like button. It teaches the algorithm that you like more videos like this, so you can stop getting on your feed. You'll start getting stuff that actually makes you money. And please subscribe to the channel, help support. Unless you hate money. If you hate money and hate winning at business, then definitely don't subscribe. This is not for you. All right, let's go into settings. Now again, this is my dashboard inside of Instantly. As you can see, AppSumo, I've been on here for years, since they first released. So if my billing and pricing looks a little bit different than yours, that's why. Okay, so they charge you by how many contacts that you want stored. Want to increase your storage limits, slide that little bar and it'll show you how much it costs. If you're recycling leads correctly, removing bad people, pushing non-openers into new campaigns, it's actually a really affordable way to manage your cold outreach. It's still, in my opinion, the best priced cold email software for how powerful it is. And if you want a video comparing Instantly AI to Smartlead or other platforms, let me know. Drop it in the comments and I'll do that for you, because I'm familiar with a lot of these platforms. Believe me, if there's one that people are talking about, I have to go use it just because of the industry that I'm in and the demand. All right, so I'm not going to go into billing. That's easy. It's self-explanatory. If you're curious to see how much things will cost, come into your billing tab and then you can go through all of these and see what's available to you and how much it costs. Email verification, inbox placement, we have all of it. All right, so here's account settings. One thing I wanna show you is how you can add members to your Instantly AI account. There's a lot of different things that you can do. For example, there's all these different tiers that you can give people. If you have clients, you wanna give them view VA access, you can do that so that they can respond to messages for you. You can give editor access if you don't want them to have access to your admin stuff. We use all of these things. Lead labels, if you ever want to create your own labels, you can come in here and do that. This is really helpful if you're using external APIs or you really want to like track people along different stages. Custom tags, you can create them here or in those tag builders. I won't go too in detail there. Website visitors. So what is website visitors? We'll talk about it briefly and then I'll come back to setting. This is actually going to identify people who are visiting your website and see if it can find their email address and information. Why I love using this for Instantly.ai, we used to use a different provider, is I don't have to combine tools and tie them together with things like Zapier. I can just move them from here automatically into a campaign. So here's that campaign, it's on autopilot. When people are on our website, it shoots them into this campaign and we can put them into a drip sequence. It works quite well. Now, once you activate this, the code is going to be in here. So this is just code that you need to put onto your website to start gathering data on your website viewers. This can get a little bit pricey. It's Instantly's probably most expensive add-on. So I would say it's absolutely worth it if you have significant website traffic. If you don't, there's probably no reason to do this. But if you do, highly recommend doing it. Let's test the code installation, make sure it's still working correctly for us. Here's our website. Congratulations, it's working. Now, if you are running a lead gen agency from your workspace, you can actually do a white label domain. So instead of it saying Instantly.ai up here, it can actually say like cold email at lead.leadgenj.com. And that's a really cool way to kind of run your lead gen agency. You can add your logo and add new client accounts with different permission. They've done a really good job making it ultra friendly to run a lead gen agency from this dashboard. Now, this is not a lead gen agency, so I'm sorry I can't show you exactly what this looks like, but just see what you can do here. They can view campaigns, they can view the Unibox, can add their email address, and they will see kind of your logo, your white label domain. They've done a really good job at making this agency friendly. Now let's talk about some preferences. These are really the account settings that I wanted to show you, and there's gonna be some nuggets here, so pay attention. When I was in campaigns and I click on this and I see a dollar amount attributed to that opportunities, that comes from your account settings. And I highly recommend that you set it up just to get like a good picture of what the potential opportunity value is. So a client to us is worth about $20,000. A lead for us is worth about $500. We've done that calculation through extensive research and data crunching, but it is important to know what the value of these leads are to you. So over time, start to gather that data and then hire a professional to actually help you figure out what the value of a lead is. A couple important things to note here. Disable global lead status synchronization. So this is if a same lead is in multiple campaigns, do you want the status of that lead to be the same? If you're running a lead gen agency and you're operating multiple clients in the same workspace, you might want to consider turning this on. For everybody else, this stays off. For 99% of the people watching, leave this off. Now, AI automations. So this is really important, guys. Most of these should be on. The AI inbox manager, it still says experimental. It's said that for about a year now. This is the full autopilot of your Unibox, replying automatically once it is trained on the right macros for the right email response. I recommend leaving this off just because AI tends to make a lot of mistakes and it's not worth it. Cold email is hard enough. Getting those replies are hard enough. Once you get the reply, you should spend a lot of time on that reply. But everything else, go ahead and leave on. All right, next, Unibox settings. So save non-instantly emails in Unibox. Everybody should leave this on. You never know what email somebody is going to reply from, and you want that to end up inside of the Unibox. I leave the rest of these off just to keep a nice, clean Unibox. Auto replies, if they're on vacation, I don't want that in my Unibox. If it's an undelivered email, I don't want that in my Unibox. The Unibox needs to be clean and streamlined so I can get through the emails as fast as possible. All right, outreach preferences. Automatically pause campaigns with high bounce rates? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. If you're having high bounce rates, something's wrong and it should stop. If you keep sending, that could damage your domains forever. You should absolutely always leave this on. So these are some newer features. Use a single sending account per time gap, send emails one at a time. If you're having problems with deliverability, you can consider checking these on. We leave them off and haven't had a single problem. These are a tool. I don't know anybody who uses these, to be quite frank. This is an important one. So if you're gathering A/B data and you're cloning campaigns, removing stuff, and you've noticed that the data seems to not be correct, try toggling this on for a few days and then maybe toggling it off. Email preferences, you should have positive reply notifications on. We don't because we use webhooks. I'll show you what we do in just a second. For everybody else, leave this on. That way Instantly can send you notifications when a positive reply has come in, so that you can get back to them as soon as possible. We also have account disconnect notifications, so we know if something happens to our mailboxes, we want to know. Okay, coming into integrations, this is where you can connect Instantly.ai to just about everything else. We like to do that through webhooks, not any of their native integrations here. So how to do that, you come into webhooks and you can basically create whatever you want in terms of event type. So for example, reply received. If you're using make.com or Zapier and you want to trigger an automation every time anyone replies to a cold email campaign, whether they're interested or out of office or it's a negative response, you can actually set all campaigns, all replies received, and then set that webhook URL. That's probably my most commonly used one, but this one is attached to all kinds of stuff. But if you would prefer to use Zapier's native integration, they do have a really good Instantly.ai integration, and you can just grab your API key from here. They actually have a brand new API out. It's really powerful. Probably not much for you to worry about, but just kind of generate an API key, give it the full scope, call it Zapier, and then it's going to give you a key to use. That way you can just plug it in and integrate it as custom as you want. All right, block list. Instantly has their own internal block list. When I showed you earlier in the Unibox, move to block list, this is what I'm talking about. However, there's some other really cool things that you can do with a block list. The last thing you want to do in cold email is keep sending emails to somebody who wants out. So we use this AI block list trigger. If they unsubscribe, add it to block list. If they reply, stop, bad fit, unsubscribe, object, it automatically moves them to block list. We also have a Google Sheet here that we keep up to date with our current clients, current sales calls, current leads, so that we're not emailing people who are already in our system with cold emails. And you can just link that Google Sheet here and now you're good. You have an unlimited block list that you can interact with. Now you do need to make sure that this is publicly accessible and then just hit set block list and you're good. This is a really powerful way to prevent the system from emailing the people that you don't want to email. Finally, one of my favorite things about Instantly.ai's new features is this advanced deliverability. So Instantly is gathering millions of data points every day. Who's saying F you on responses? Who's not replying? Who's replying? They have all of this information on all of these leads. So this is a new feature that they added, AI lead filtering. If somebody's unlikely to reply based on Instantly's data, I can skip, I can send last, or I can send as usual. So to boost your results, I can hit send last. If somebody is hostile, meaning Instantly knows this person's a dick, he's reporting as spam, he's cursing people out, I want to skip that person. I definitely don't want to email that person. So this is a really great way for Instantly to leverage all of their data to get ahead of the competition. And I'm super excited about this. There's also some deliverability optimization that you can do on the account level. So we talked about some of the same stuff on the campaign level. Now, if you want to just enable the same settings across all your campaigns, you can do it here. You can enable provider matching, send first email as text only, and you can disable open tracking all from the account level. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. All right, now that we've gotten through the account level settings, I hope you're getting value from this, by the way. This is taking me a lot of time to put together, and I'm just laying all of my secrets out there, so make sure to like and subscribe. So now let's talk about their lead finder. They've done a really good job at having good, clean, up-to-date leads. There's a couple reasons to use Instantly's lead finder that I'm gonna give you. Reason number one, you don't want to use multiple different tools. By condensing all of your software stack into just Instantly, that saves mistakes and it saves you from going from one place to another. So you can use this lead finder to build filters like you would in any other lead database like Apollo.io. I'm not going to go through all of these filters right now. If you want to learn about that, there's a separate video about it. So they've done a great job with this lead finder. Is it the most up-to-date and robust lead database on earth? Absolutely not. For that, I would use something like Apollo.io combined with TrustedLeads.io. And if you're wondering what that is, TrustedLeads.io is a service will help scrape leads from Apollo for a fraction of the cost. So you can go into Apollo and make your filters using their most robust database that exists, and then get that lead data for unbelievably cheap prices. They can also give you mobile phone numbers. If you don't want to go into Apollo and do the filters yourself, you can actually just tell them what leads you want. They can scrape Instagram. I love this tool. We use the crap out of it. But if you're okay spending a little bit more money for your leads and you want to make your life a lot simpler and more streamlined, then you can do everything in Instantly.ai. And the best part is you don't have to worry about verifying your leads. They actually verify the leads on the export here. So you'll build your lead list and then you'll send it to a campaign and they will actually verify the leads for you on the spot, all included in the price. And the price is actually pretty affordable. Now, I'm not going to go through building lead list filters, but I will show you one really cool thing. So these are all the lead lists that I've built and saved in Instantly.ai. Now, what you can do using the lead finder that's really unique and a really good selling point for using this service, other than the verification being included, it all being in one platform, is that you can set up what I call an evergreen campaign. So you'll never have to worry about pushing lead data into a campaign again. Now, you may have noticed when I was showing you some of these campaigns that a couple of them have this little infinity symbol next to the campaign. What that infinity symbol means is it is hooked into Lead Finder's evergreen campaign. It's pushing lead data into this every day on autopilot. So how did I set that up? Let's come into Lead Finder. Let's grab one of our saved searches. All right, so we've got a saved search. I selected the first page of this, and now I'm gonna click Add to Campaign. Now there's a really cool function here that doesn't exist in other lead databases with Instantly. So you can select the target campaign, where are you pushing these leads, and then enable evergreen. That turns on that little infinity symbol that you saw earlier. This is one of the secret superpowers of Instantly.ai. It's gonna cost you a little bit more than using trustedleads.io and an email verification service, but it will help you not ever have to worry about adding leads to a campaign or verifying them the right way. So if you want to give yourself the best shot at a successful campaign, this is a really good way to go. So enable evergreen, and then I can add 50 new leads from this search filter that I have here every single day to that campaign. That way it just stays populated. You don't have to worry about pushing new leads in and verifying. And it does work quite well, and the lead data actually converts pretty well. So I definitely recommend using this if you're a set it and forget it type guy and you're not trying to nickel and dime on your lead data. Now, we actually have an enterprise plan at Apollo.io. So we use the best of the best. We've got a system in place to verify the lead, catch all, verify the lead, push them into these campaigns. But if you're just getting started, this is a great place to start. All right, now let's move on to the analytics tab. I'm not gonna spend too much time here because we already talked about the campaign analytics at the campaign level. This is pretty much the same thing. The only difference here in this tab is you can actually get account analytics. So you can actually see how good the mailboxes are performing, and it gives them a combined score. The combined scores are on a descending trend. So if you want to come down and see how well these mailboxes are performing, this is a really great place to look. However, with this new inbox placement functionality, we're not ever going into those account analytics now, we're just coming into here. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about inbox placement. An inbox placement test is when you send an email from a mailbox to actual other mailboxes and sees how it was received in real time. So let's go into our main one here just to see how our mailboxes are performing, what this looks like. This is one of the things Instantly did that transformed cold email. It's absolutely incredible for a couple of reasons. One, you get real data about how your mailboxes are performing. You can come into email accounts and see the health score. You can run a deliverability test here in the campaigns. Let me show you what that looks like. This is what we used to do. Let's do preview. This is the old way. You come into an email preview and you check deliverability score, and it's going to send a test email and it's going to gather the responses. However, that test email didn't go to a bunch of Gmails and G Suites and Microsoft Offices. And you get really basic data here. You don't know how it actually delivered in real life. With inbox placement tests, you do. This is how the email's actually ending up in real world mailboxes. So as you can see, we're 97% inbox, about 3% spam. Those are good numbers. Now I'm in my overall results right now. Here's how I'm delivering specifically to different ESPs. This is really good, 94% to Outlook, 99% to Google. We've got the spam filters that I'm hitting, content insights. It does an amazing job at really breaking down our emails and if there's any areas for improvement. Lastly, it shows blacklists, domains that are on blacklists, and IP addresses that are on blacklists, and then all of the actual email placements. The moral of the story here is that it's doing real world tests every single day on every mailbox on autopilot. And we're getting amazing data about that deliverability. Now, the real magic here, this is what everybody needs. Everybody needs to turn this on, pay the 97 bucks. Let's do this test configuration. Here's how it works. Automated, sending from Instantly, blah, blah, blah. These automations save our life. So it's very often that a single mailbox will start sending emails to spam, or a single domain will get flagged and start sending emails to spam. And if you're not checking every day, it's going to continue sending and making it worse, and which can affect your entire campaign, because now your copy's at risk of getting flagged. The other domains that are sending that copy are at risk of getting flagged. If a domain is blacklisted or a mailbox is blacklisted, you need to get that thing out of rotation as soon as you possibly can. And this is how you do that. So every day it's gonna run 10 placement tests. And when the inbox placement goes below 50%, it pauses the sending campaign for 14 days for that mailbox. If the account or domain is added to any blacklist, it pauses the campaign for 14 days. And then when it achieves above 70% inbox placement, it puts it back into rotation slowly. These automations transform the way that we do cold email. We used to do this all manually. Now it does it all for us. It makes it unbelievably scalable. Everybody absolutely needs to turn this on. It is a total game changer, transforms the way that we do cold email. And finally, the last thing that I'm gonna show you is something that's really underutilized by everybody in the cold email space. Nobody is doing this, which is using their CRM. Their CRM is unbelievably powerful. And if you're saying, I already have a CRM, why would I use Instantly CRM? Yeah, no duh, we have CRMs too. It's important to keep your cold email leads and your actual leads, your warm leads, separately. We don't just push every interested reply from Instantly into our Go High Level CRM. They stay in this CRM until they take some sort of action. They book a call, opt in for one of our lead magnets. And this is where our BDR team, essentially our setters that are in charge of Instantly, will actually keep track of people. So just like a regular CRM, you've got an opportunity pipeline, you can move people through it, you can assign leads to people. You can also build sales flows and automations. You can do website visitors automations from here, run reports, and then set specific preferences. This is a really powerful CRM. I'm not gonna explain to you how CRMs work, but just know you should have a separate CRM for your cold email leads and a separate CRM as like your main sales CRM. This is what we do. It works really well. We've got our BDR team in charge of this CRM, and our sales team, our closers, in charge of our main CRM, our official leads that have actually taken action. But if you're doing the kind of volume that we are, you need a way to keep track of everything, and you don't want to lose track of these interested leads. They are too valuable. And this is the best possible way that I know to keep track of these cold leads, which is keep them in the CRM until they take action, in which case they come out of the CRM and they move into my main CRM. All right, now I just want to wrap up here by offering something to you. Now, if you don't already have a subscription for Instantly AI, I really would love your help using my affiliate link. This is not sponsored by Instantly AI. If you do sign up with my affiliate link, you'll save some money and get some benefits. If you use my affiliate link for Instantly AI, I'll actually do all of your mailbox infrastructure setup for free. So if you're just getting started and you don't already have an Instantly AI account, you can come to this link, sign up for my Instantly AI account. The link is right here. Using my affiliate link, that will give me credit. And then you'll just do your infrastructure setup here and we will refund your setup fees. Simple as that. Normally it's $5 setup fee. You'll save a ton of money from using Instantly's setup service, and you'll own the mailboxes, and you'll have a dedicated mailbox manager. That's a massive upgrade from any other infrastructure that you might use. It's also a nice thank you to me for making this content available to you for free. So please use my affiliate link and let me know if you did. If you signed up with my affiliate link, drop it in the comments and I'll send you over a gift. Just say, use your affiliate link and I'll send you over a gift. Now, all this stuff really only works if you know how to piece all of the stuff together for cold email. We didn't really go into building a lead list, writing the sequences, and that's really a lot of the challenges people face with cold email. So make sure that you watch my 4-hour masterclass on cold email, how I made $15 million with cold email on YouTube. Should be linked somewhere here. Watch that next. And if you're interested in going a lot deeper, being inside of my cold email communities, go down, the link is below. We've got a free community and we also have a much more advanced community for people who want to expedite their knowledge, get all of our blueprints, sequences, templates, and secret trainings that are not in YouTube or the free community. Over 100 secret trainings. So if you think this stuff is good, just wait until you see what is in there. All of it is linked down below in this video, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you soon.